Can I get out here? Look, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little Game Pass smoke. Because, you know, the previous CEO of PlayStation, otherwise known as Shawn Layden, continues to have all this vitriol against Game Pass. Smoke that I think continues to be interesting because he's not the only one. There's a lot of detractors who think what Xbox is doing, what Microsoft is doing, however you want to label them, I still consider it Xbox. I know a lot of people say, you know, people are starting to move into the mindset of Xbox being dead. Look, again, on a traditional standpoint, is Xbox going to be playing the game the same way that they did previously? Just had a little slide there. That was crazy. Anyway, is Xbox playing the game the same way that it's traditionally been done over the last, 40 years? No, they're not. They're doing something fucking different. You know how the saying goes? If you can't beat the player, then you gotta change the game. Look, and as a business, it's gonna be the number one thing that Microsoft is always gonna look forward to do, right? Since back in the day, since they stepped into the gaming industry, one of their number one pieces of motivation was trying to get into the living room, right? I think what Xbox has done over the years has been a lot of magnificent things, right? I've seen posts here as of late as well saying, hey, if there was a company that you would get rid of in the gaming space, who would it be? PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Steam. To me, I'm going to tell you PlayStation every time. PlayStation has not been hitting those marks for me since PlayStation 2, right? When they were kind of de facto in that way. Really, since OG Xbox. Now, again, I am somebody who considers themselves as a Xbox fan, just through and through, right? No matter what anybody else says, I could be mainly playing on PC, whatever the case may be, I'm always going to be a fan of Xbox as a brand, as a gaming brand specifically more than anything. Mostly because of what they've done for the multiplayer space. I wouldn't be the multiplayer gamer I am today if it was not for Xbox, right? So there's some spice there. But I mentioned it previously, and I'll say it here again. Game Pass is an option. Game Pass is not an issue for the industry today. It's not. The issue for the industry is games like Roblox, games like Fortnite, games like these sports games that continuously get released every year, and people, the whales more specifically, and people that probably would be considered the casuals in the space, the people who are spending the money, spending the ducats, and 2K they're getting the VC, and Madden they're getting the My Team packs, the Ultimate Team packs and shit like that. I think you got the same shit in really all the sports games. So it's like, these are the people who are the issue in the industry, because you're blatantly demonstrating to these folks that not only will you spend $70 to $80 for a release of a sports game on a year-to-year basis, to where, what's crazy, they could probably make just as much. You know what? I can't even say that, because they've proven that they can do what they've been doing. Sell you a full price game, you're going to buy it every year, you're going to buy the microtransactions for said game, and they're going to continue to run that dollar up. Which is crazy to me, because people complain about microtransactions in Call of Duty, they'll complain about microtransactions in Fortnite, and mind you, I think Fortnite's extremely egregious with how they handle microtransactions. $20 a skin? God damn, they hitting y'all motherfuckers over the head. But they're not the only ones who do that type of aggressive pricing, right? Especially with the characters don't even have like super unique things to them a lot of the time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You have so many other issues in the industry other than a service that is an option that still gives people a way to not only purchase games, but to play games, whether you see it as, oh, these people are just playing demos, which, again, you being able to play, quote-unquote, a demo that you can also beat, that is not leaving the service, at least for first-party games especially, Because third party, that's a little bit different. Those kind of go in and out. They have ebbs and flows. But for a service that gives you an option, and people, like, this is the crazy thing to me. People will get on the Game Pass, and on one side they'll say, oh, well, Game Pass has changed consumer habits and people aren't buying games the way that they should because Game Pass services like Game Pass show people that they don't have to do that. And then also in the same breath will tell you, well, there's not enough people who are in Game Pass. They only have X amount of subs, and it's not vital. It's not sustainable for the gaming ecosystem. It's not sustainable for Xbox to continue to do what they're doing while still complaining that, oh, well, Game Pass is the issue. Oh, it's these devs, they're not getting paid. Meanwhile, you have devs who are consistently coming out talking about, oh man, well, Game Pass has been a benefit to us. And then you also have devs who will come out on stage and say, like for the devs who did, I'm trying to think of the fucking game offhand. I try to have a good flow on when I do these videos, man. Journey to the Savage Planet, the second game. Dude came out and was saying, oh, you know, I really don't believe in doing this, that, and that with Game Pass, although, you know, it did benefit us, in this way or that way. He spoke negative, but he also added a negative slight to it that made it seem like, oh, well, you know, maybe I shouldn't have took that Game Pass back. It's like, dog, nobody would have played your goddamn game if it wasn't in Game Pass. Nobody cares about Journey to the Savage Planet. I didn't even know, I wasn't even really aware of the game if it wouldn't have been in Game Pass. So it's like, bro, what are we doing? Yes, it is not the end all to be all. It is not the perfect solution for what we got going on in the gaming industry. But if you're trying to reach a wider audience of gamers, then why not give people options to access the content in a way that they see fit, bro? Let Game Pass destroy itself if that's what it ends up doing. But right now, I just don't see any evidence that is viable, that it would be proof to demonstrate that what the direction that Xbox is going, trying to give people more access, play anywhere. Who else is offering you play anywhere to where you can buy the game one time? If you buy a version of Final Fantasy 16 on Xbox, you can play that same game on PC through Xbox. That's fucking dope. And more moves seemingly to be made that way. Backwards compatibility. They made sure that say, hey, Sarah Bond came out and said, yo, it's going to be a focus for us. If they are able to make this play happen, cross this boundary with Xbox and PC to where you now have access to your console games on PC, truly making the ecosystem wherever you want it at, and making that Xbox, we're gonna be moving into some really special territory, ladies and gentlemen. Game is in a beautiful place, continues to be. I'm gonna keep running these back. I swapped it over in case y'all didn't know. Y'all make it to the end here. It's no longer Lunch with Steel. I call these rain checks. So if you liking this rain check, let me know below. How are you feeling about Game Pass? Do you even know what it is? Do you interact with it at all? Let me know, man. Am I tripping? Because I'm just bringing energy to the table, bro. I like Game Pass. I'm not saying it's perfect, but goddamn, I don't regret it. As far as my monthly, like when I plan out my monthly funds and stuff like that, Game Pass is one of the things I don't necessarily look at as like, damn, man, oh, I really need to get rid of this one. Hey, nonetheless, much love. Steel out. Follow me everywhere. Steel Rain at Teaser 7, baby. Much love. Peace.